We have one more board member that should be here any second. So as soon as she gets here, we'll start our meeting. Welcome, everyone. This is our Thursday, June 18th, 2026 meeting of the Board of Directors for the Indianapolis Public Transportation Corporation. And at this point in time, I will ask our Chief Legal Counsel, Bob Fry, to call the roll, please.
Thank you. Directors, please indicate your attendance when I call your name. Director Smith?
Here.
Director Slash? Director Fagan? Director Wilson? Director Gardner?
Present.
Director Hahn?
Present.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum. We do believe Director Slash is online.
I'm present.
Okay, there she is.
So just a note for the record, because we do have one member participating virtually, we'll have to take all roll call votes.
Okay, just remind me.
Yes.
Next item is item number 2, awards and commendations. And our president and CEO, Jennifer Purrs, will present any awards and commendations we have for May.
Good afternoon. Jennifer Pierce, President and CEO. I have a short group today. Our usuals, Safe Drivers and Employee of the Month. So we'll start with our May 2026 Safe Drivers. The operators that we have listed here were recognized in May for their safe driving record, and each one of them received a National Safety Council patch, pin, and certificate. So congratulations to everybody on this list. I'll highlight Mr. Patrick Gray. He has been working for us for 21 years and recently celebrated 20 years of safe driving, which is quite an accomplishment. So congratulations to Mr. Gray. And then finally, our June Operations Employee of the Month. Want to congratulate bus operator Geneva Hartwell. In her nomination, her teammates noted that they were proud to recognize her tremendous growth and success as a professional coach operator. Her professional trajectory is one of great success, and her nominator said that while she was doing outstanding work long before the nominator became her supervisor, they were proud to support her. She noted that she demonstrates a strong commitment to safety, excellent demeanor and consistent attendance. She is known for always wearing a smile that brightens the day of her teammates and riders. Everyone feels welcome and valued in her presence. Indigo is very fortunate to have Operator Hartwell as a teammate. So congratulations, Ms. Hartwell. We look forward to seeing you out on the street. With that, we'll hand it back over to you, Chairman.
Thank you. Next, committee reports. And that's item number 3. Okay. Thank you. A little feedback going on. And moving on to item 3, the committee reports. Without objection, we will enter into the record the service committee report for its meeting on June 11th, 2026. Anybody object? Okay, thank you. Show for the record that that has been admitted. Now we move to the regular agenda, and item number 4. And we begin with action item A1, and that's consideration approval of the board minutes meeting for May the 21st, 2026. Are there any questions or comments from the board members after reviewing the minutes from last board meeting? Okay, if not, can I get a motion for consideration and approval of the May 21, 2026 board meeting minutes?
So move.
Okay, since we have a member participating electronically, the board's votes today will have to be by voice vote. Voice. Oh, that's right. We're doing it by roll call. Thanks. So Bob, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Chair, too, for the record, just I'd like to indicate that Director Quick has arrived at 4:07. And Director Quick, the motion right now is to approve the minutes from last month. I'll leave it to you whether you choose to vote or not. So on the present motion, directors, please indicate your vote when I call your name. Director Smith? Aye. Director Slash?
Aye.
Director Quick?
Aye.
Director Fagan?
Aye.
Director Wilson? Aye. Gardner?
Aye.
Director Hahn?
Aye. You. Next is action item A2, and that consideration adoption of resolution 2026-05, approving the fixed route fare policy. And a manager of special projects and regional mobility integration, Ryan Wilhite, will present. This portion of the board meeting is a public hearing. And following Ryan's presentation, any member of the public attending will be given the opportunity to speak for or against the staff's recommendation. If you would like to speak, please come up now and put your name on the list with the board clerk sitting to my right. So Manager of Special Projects and Regional Mobility Integration, Ryan Wilhite.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Board of Directors, Manager of Special Projects and Regional Mobility Integration, Ryan Wilhite. I'm presenting action item A2, consideration and adoption of resolution 2026-05, which approves the fixed route fare policy and the associated fare equity analysis. I'm going to read the recommendation on action item A2 just to make sure we're clear there. That's the recommendation is recommended that the Board of Directors adopt resolution 2026-05, approving updates to IPTC's fixed route fare policy and the fare equity analysis. As a bit of background, the board approved a fixed route fare policy in 2025. The policy outlines the fares charged on fixed route and fare collection procedures. Some of the policy items that were in that fixed route fare policy in 2025 were tied specifically to the previous system, MyKey, which we're currently operating and will cease operating soon. On July 1st, 2026, we're introducing the new system, MyKey Plus. We need to align our fixed route fare policy with the MyKey Plus functionality, specifically 2 items, the deposit bonuses and the ticket vending machines that are included in the policy. The proposed policy revisions include eliminating the deposit bonus and removing references to accepting payment through ticket vending machines. The deposit bonus is not offered as part of the standard configuration for the MyKey Plus. Rather than customizing the software, we're proposing elimination of the deposit bonus. Ticket vending machines are not supported, the current ticket vending machines, are not supported on MyKey Plus. Replacing them would require significant capital outlay. Instead, Indigo is going to leverage the retail network that is available through the MyKey Plus system that's existing. Whenever we have a fare policy change, we are required to evaluate, understand if we need to perform a fare equity analysis. This is required when we're doing an increase or decrease of fares. I did not say that we're doing an increase and decrease of fares. We are performing a fare equity analysis because the deposit bonus was included in the fare policy that was adopted in, I want to say 2019, but it all blurs together with the 2018 work. So it was in a previous fare policy and in the 2025 fare policy as well. So when we took on that task, we realized that the existing data that we had available to us did not allow us to conduct a quantitative analysis of the deposit bonus change. As a result, staff determined that we would move forward assuming an impact and follow our process for when an impact is found in an equity analysis. And as a result, we conducted public outreach about the removal of the deposit bonus and documented within the fare equity analysis a business justification for why we would not include the deposit bonus on the MyKey Plus system. I normally don't read from a script, but I like to read from a script on that one. So with that, that is my presentation. I'm more than happy to take any questions that you all might have about these changes.
Anybody, any questions from the board? Have any members of the public signed up to speak? Okay. So with that, we'll close that part of the public meeting. And let's see, public hearing is now closed. And are there any other comments or questions from the board after that? Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion for adoption of resolution number 2026-05?
Moved.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion for adoption of resolution 2026-05, and the board's bylaws require a roll call vote. So Bob Ferrari will take the roll call.
Thank you. Directors, on the present motion, please indicate your vote when I call your name. Director Smith, Director Slash,
Aye.
Quick,
Aye.
Director Fagan, Director Wilson, Director Gard.
Aye.
On
Aye.
the motion. Resolution is adopted.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is action item A3, and that's consideration and approval of a task order for Butler, Fairman, and Seifert for construction management services for the Blue Line project. And Director of Capital Projects, Matt Duffy, will present.
Good afternoon, Matt Duffy, Director of Capital Projects. It's recommended that the Board of Directors authorize the President and CEO to execute a task order with Butler, Fairman, and Seifert, or BF&S, for construction management services for an amount not to exceed $269,000. In February 2026, the board approved a contribution of $6 million towards the City of Indianapolis DPW's West Washington Street Improvement Project. Part of that project will occur within the Blue Line construction limits. So the second page of the action item has a diagram that was also presented back in February, showing where that project overlaps with the Blue Line. So this request is for construction management services for BF&S to oversee that construction that occurs within the Blue Line limits. The good thing in this case is that BF&S was also awarded the contract for the city's inspection of their project. So it works really well. They were already inspecting our project and will be inspecting that project. Makes a lot of sense for them to have this work. It's a task order based contract. To date, there have been around $25.5 million of work on this contract. The inspection work covers the daily oversight, utility coordination, and material testing associated with construction inspection. Of the $6 million, important to note that this $269,000 task order is fully covered in that $6 million. This is not in addition to the $6 million. So it's already covered under that request. And that's per the agreement that we have with the city between the two projects. And then lastly, on the DBE XBE declaration, there's no participation on this task order because it's such a small portion of the work. They wanted to self-perform it, but they have exceeded their goal to date. So their goal is 15%, and right now their utilization is 20.5% on the overall contract. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Matt? Okay. Thanks, Matt. Can I get a motion for consideration and approval of a task order for Butler, Fairman, and Seifert for construction managed services?
So moved.
Okay, there being a motion and a second, Bob, will you please call the roll?
Yes, on the present motion, please indicate your vote when I call your name. Director Smith? Director Slash? Director Slash? Director Quick?
Aye.
Director Wilson? Director Gardner? Director Hahn? The motion carries.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Next is action item A4, and that's consideration and approval of a new task order with Burgess and Nipple for construction management services on the 2026 BRT pavement maintenance project. Project Manager, Capital Projects, Christian Cameron will present.
Good afternoon. Thank you. This is Christian Cameron, Project Manager of Capital Projects. This is a very similar action item that you just saw from Matt, but for a different project, different scope of work. So it is recommended that the Board of Directors authorize the President and CEO to execute a task order with Burgess and Nipple, or B&N, for construction management services to advance the 2026 BRT pavement maintenance project for an amount not to exceed $230,000. Back in 2023, the board awarded an on-call task order-based contract with B&N, and their fees up to date for services furnished to Indigo total $1,012,562 for projects that have included on-street infrastructure and facility improvements. If executed, this task order will include construction management services leading up to construction, during construction, and during the project closeout period. To give a little background on the construction services that they're providing for this project, the project at hand addresses pavement repairs along the red and purple line, including Capitol Avenue, Meridian Street, and College Avenue. Similar to the scope of work that Matt just laid out with his action item, construction services for this project ensure that the work meets contract plans, specifications, terms, and applicable Indianapolis DPW transportation standards. And the services include things like project controls, change management, daily construction inspection oversight, material testing, risk management, and weekly and monthly reporting. The cost of these services for this work is included as part of the locally funded project operating budget. And XBE participation is detailed down here at the bottom of the page. So to date, the contract is at 27.1% XBE participation. This task order totals 20.9% XBE participation, and you can see the breakdown below if you're interested. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Matt. Have we, or Cameron, I'm sorry. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
You said that this is already included in the initial budget, right?
Yes, this is budgeted for, yes.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
Comment?
Chairman, just one quick
Sure.
question. I should know the answer to this, but this is ongoing maintenance, right? I mean, this is something that we're gonna have to plan for
Yes,
in out years.
yes, that's
Like,
right.
do we know what the cycle is for having to do this maintenance work? And
Mhm.
I'm assuming, and I may be wrong, but this would include the other part of the purple line at some point in the future and the blue line when it goes into revenue service at some point in the future. Would that be?
That's correct,
Okay.
yes. So we've got a pavement asset management plan being put together by another consultant that should inform out years of planning. So with this scope of work this year, we wanted to really focus on the red line, and it includes that section of the red line that overlaps with the purple line, of course. But yeah, in future years, we'll be looking at purple line, and say 6, 7, 8 years from now, we'd be looking at blue line pavement
Okay.
maintenance.
Good, thanks. I just want to make sure I was clear on that. Thanks for your help.
No problem.
Any other questions for Christian? All right. Can I get a motion for consideration and approval of a new task order for Burgess and Nipple for construction management services?
So moved.
Second. All right. There being a motion and second, Bob, will you please call the roll?
Please indicate when I call your name in the present motion. Director Smith, Director Slash,
Aye.
Director Quick, Director Fagan. Aye. Director Wilson,
Aye.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Hahn. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is action item A5, and that's a consideration of approval of annual insurance placement. And our Director of Risk and Safety, Brian Clem, will make that presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, members of the board. My name is Brian Clem, Director for Risk and Safety. I bring for you the consideration for the insurance placement for 2026-27. It is recommended the Board of Directors authorize our President and CEO to bind insurance coverages for IPTC through July 1st of 2026 through June 30th of 2027, an amount not to exceed $1,190,115. A little bit of background: IPTC's insurance broker, currently Insurance Management Group, IMG, makes IPTC's or markets IPTC's risk profile and then solicits quotes out to the insurance market for recommended coverages to meet fiscal capacity and best values of corporation. A little bit of discussion. This year's solicitation attracted significant market interest from prior years with multiple competitive quotes. IPTC carries insurance coverage for all property, employment practices, or employment practice liability, EPL, directors and officers, D&O, liability, crime, fiduciary, cyber insurance, and retained limits or excess liability. Notable premium reductions for the quoted lines of coverage include, for this year, property coverage, a decrease of $325,000, $325,652 or 33% decrease. Fiduciary coverage, a decrease of $1,237 or 15%. And cyber protection coverage, a decrease of $2,426 or 29% decrease. I see a correction on my papers, just want to point that out, that this year with our D&O coverage for directors and officers and board members, we were also able to attain at the same value $500,000 of additional protection coverages for that line item. Overall, the 2026-2027 renewal delivered a net savings of $292,855 or a 20% reduction over 2025-2026 renewals. Included in the agenda packet is a chart showing each line of insurance coverage and the corresponding year-over-year percent change in premium cost. Fiscal impacts. The services are locally funded through our operating budget each year, and our DBE XBE declaration Due to the specialized nature of insurance markets and the absence of subcontracting opportunities, there was no XBE participation goal for this action item. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank a member of my staff, Kevin Newman, which is our risk and safety manager for Indigo. He put many late nights, long days to get data with several sharp pencils to try to work with our underwriters to make this happen. So I would like to recognize Kevin Newman. And then I'd also like to call up our insurance broker with IMG, Greg Lane, and me and him will be more than happy to answer any questions for you. And that concludes my report. Thank you. Greg?
Thanks, Brian.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Greg Lane with Insurance Management Group. I'm open to any questions you'd have regarding what you so eloquently talked about. So,
Chairman. Yeah. It's time for another exciting episode of Fun with the Finance Chair. So, Greg, I'm assuming the notable reduction in the property coverage is because of the way we changed insuring our rolling stock. Would that be accurate?
correct. I'd say half of it was the rolling stock, half of it was rate.
Half of it was what?
Half- We are insuring the rolling stock and the rest of it would be rate reduction.
Rate reduction. Okay, great. And then I was, I had asked, can't remember who I asked, but I asked somebody if the way we're buying our insurance, if we looked at industry trends or best practices across, what other peer agencies might be doing,
Yes.
how do we stick? Because it seems to me like we've got a pretty good.
I did do a report on that and I will be glad to share a PDF for the board afterwards, but I will tell you that generally speaking, in the transit world, there's three different ways to insure rolling stock: actual cash value, replacement cost, or agreed value. In the past, Liberty Mutual has made you carry replacement costs. This year, with competition, we were able to get them to go with an agreed value that Brian's team was able to come up with. That was more because of the Buy America issue. There's issues with regards to replacement costs. So they were essentially punishing you with the rate. So we were able to get them to agree to rate you based off that lower amount.
Great, awesome. I really appreciate the hard work the junior team did, and saving money is like a really good thing. So thank you for doing that. Brian, thanks to your team also for the hard work. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, and Brian, can you give me that PDF? Can you send me that PDF?
Absolutely. What we'll do is we'll send that to Tamika and then she'll send that out, concluding the meeting to the board of
Okay,
directors.
great, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I think the finance chair asked that one well. No questions over here.
Can I get a motion for consideration and approval of annual insurance placement?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
There being a motion and a second, Bob, will you please call the roll?
Directors on the present motion, please indicate your vote when I call your name. Director Smith? Ash?
Aye.
Director Quick?
Aye.
Director Fagan? Director Wilson?
Aye.
Director Gardner?
Aye.
Director Hahn? Motion carries.
All right, thank you. This brings us to agenda item number 4, the information items. And item I1 is the finance report, and that'll be presented by Chief Financial Officer Justin Burkop.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Justin Burkop, Chief Financial Officer for Indigo, here this afternoon to present highlights from the May 2026 financial report. Beginning with revenue, fair revenue exceeded budget by approximately $68,000 or 13.9% for May and is now running about $186,000 or 7.5% above budget year to date. And to provide a little bit of additional visibility into our fair revenue, there should be another report later on in the packet specifically calling out our fair revenue performance for the year. This was something that we presented at the service committee earlier this month, and it was recommended that we include that in the board packet going forward. So you'll see that each month. Gives a good insight into our performance, particularly year over year. Other operating income was also favorable for the month. During the month, we received a $644,000 reimbursement from citizens for sanitary utility relocation work associated with the Blue Line, resulting in this category finishing approximately $410,000 over budget for May. We also received our annual Public Mass Transit Transportation Fund allocation from NDOT in May, as well as a $9.3 million supplemental local income tax distribution, which also significantly increased revenue for the month. Moving on to expenses, personal services. Fringe benefits were over budget for the month as a result of 2 invoices that were paid in the 1-month period for our employee on-site and off-site medical clinic services. Other services and charges for the month. Claims expense was over budget during the month, and this was driven primarily by some timing and a high amount of claim-related activity that was recognized in May. Overall, other services and charges were under budget, $1.2 million for the month and $5.4 million for the year. And moving to materials and supplies, all budget categories for materials and supplies were under budget for the month, $292,324 total, and $1.5 million under budget year to date. Overall, Indigo is $1.4 million under budget for May and $9.9 million under budget year to date. That concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board for Justin?
In regards to the overtime, it seems to be double with the budget.
It does, yeah. It's a trend we've seen throughout the year. We do continue to experience some shortages, particularly in our operations division, that have driven up overtime expenses for the year. The good news is that it's offset by the underspending in the salary itself.
Oh,
So
okay.
we continue to be under budget there as a whole.
All right.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Justin. Okay, next is item 1-2, I2, and that's the Indigo Foundation Quarterly Report, and that'll be presented by the Indigo Foundation Board Chair, Hardy Shaw.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Board of Directors. I'm Hardi Shah, Board Chair for Indigo Foundation, and I'm here to present the quarterly report for Indigo Foundation on behalf of Foundation's Executive Director, Emily Moe, who is on a family vacation this week. So happy to be here. And next slide, please. So this is the new website that Indigo Foundation launched earlier this month, and the website allows us to have the platform for more original content that will also be used for our social media. This summer, you'll see a variety of content shared from blog posts to videos and presentation at the Transit Equity Day. For example, this week we shared a blog post by Rachel Moss at Transit Equity Day, and on how choosing to ride transit is essential and investing in the shared system and as a way to demonstrate the civic generosity. The goal of the content is to help position the foundation as a thought leader in the community and taking advantage of our unique positioning between the transit agency and the community. Amplifying our voice in the community will strengthen our supporter base and ability to fundraise. The new website also completes the transition of getting Indigo Foundation off of Indigo's IT services. This design was paid for through Lilly Foundation, a grant that we received in 2024, and the maintenance will be handled internally as well. And I also wanted to acknowledge Rachel Moss, the Director of Programs and Operations, who is joining us as well. The impact report. So every year, the foundation sends out the impact report. So based on the 2025 impact report, it was mailed to all of our donors and not-for-profit organizations earlier this month. and it is more concise than what you have seen in the previous years, focusing mainly on the outcomes related to reducing financial barriers, physical and social barriers to transit as well. And you all should have received a copy in mail at home, but let us know if you would like to have additional copies for distribution. This is fun. I always like to see a kid on the picture. So this summer collection of Indigo Swag Store launched on June 11th, and it includes more requested option for kids. If asked how the swag store is doing, as much as it's fun to see, the store was not created to be a big money maker. It was more of a conduit to identify people who are passionate about transit and how we can cultivate them as donors. The hope was that we would eventually at least break even, which we have not done yet, unfortunately. But the amount we spend on store is in line with other prospecting, like the marketing collateral, right? It's about $1,500 to $2,000. February marked 1 year anniversary of the store. As we start to plan for 2027, we will be evaluating if the store is worth continuing or if this is something that Indigo wants to take on. But definitely a discussion needs to happen with regard to the future of Indigo Foundation Swag Store. Up next is not-for-profit sector update, right? So Indigo Foundation in many ways serves as Indigo's connection to the not-for-profit sector. We periodically update you on the trends that we are seeing in this sector. There have been many changes in the federal policy over the past 18 months that are having a tremendous impact on our not-for-profit sector. Here are some key takeaways from the Center of Effective Philanthropy's State of Nonprofit report. All these three findings that you are seeing on your screen are the things that our foundation team is seeing and experiencing locally on a day-to-day basis. This study is also available at cep.org. The key findings of the reports are burnout has increased dramatically among the non-for-profit CEOs who say the current context has contributed to lower staff morale and heightened the level of stress and fear. CEOs, the not-for-profit CEOs report more difficulty obtaining the foundation funding than any previous year due to changing landscape. Despite ongoing financial challenges, many not-profits are making strategic adaptation to their work in order to survive. I mean, constantly you have to evolve. The new, older strategies do not work in the current landscape. So what is out there, Foundation is constantly evaluating what are the best practices that are out in the not-for-profit sector and adapting and with agility. So, but there are still some struggles that I would like to acknowledge. Overall, Indigo Foundation's not-for-profit program, right? So I think there has been a story. I don't want to read verbatim, but we can go to the next slide, and this material is available for you to digest later on as well. Not-profit fair program update. So the team worked with Indigo to create a detailed letter for not-for-profit partners to explain the changes are coming. It was important that we send this letter before Indigo announced the MyKey Plus changes because the process and products available for not-for-profit organizations and bulk orders is different than what was available to the general public. Overall, both the team and our not-for-profit partners are relieved that Indigo decided to make the new paper product available for bulk orders. So highly appreciative of those collaborative efforts. This takes the pressure off and gives more time to transition effectively and smoothly. Up next is So endowment feasibility study, many of the board members on Indigo have been part of the Indigo Foundation's endowment feasibility study. Thank you, Greg and Adrian, for being part of those committees and conversations, and those were really productive and insightful. Some key takeaways from the findings are the foundation has seen to be a good collaborating partner, but the public sometimes equates the two organizations. So the foundation sometimes is burdened by the things that are out of control for the foundation. For example, the cleanliness of the bus stops, right? So the foundation receives sometimes inquiries directly to the foundation about the state of the bus stops. But, you know, I know things are improving for sure, but I think overall, these are the findings from the study. Donors feel like the fair discount programs are generally easier to understand and better for philanthropic funding than the ADA infrastructure projects. Donors may want to see the employers whose workforce and customers frequently use the transit system, for example, hospitals and hospitality industry, stepping up to be financially supportive of Indigo Foundation. And Emily is happy to meet with all of you or any of you to review the report in its entirety. It's a long report and has many other observations and key findings, but just for the purpose of this meeting, just wanted to keep it concise and short and to the point. Up next is some foundation metrics. So the 2026 goal was divided into two or three major aspects. And all Indigo Foundation staff have performance metrics that are measured monthly. And this month, these metrics are related to the fundraising for the team. So we had for 2026, eight donor meetings a month as one of the goals. And the team has achieved through June 10th, 38 plus 3 scheduled meetings. And then, so I would like to clarify this third row here, which says raise $712,000 is a subset of raise $1 million. Those are not two separate. So just wanted to clarify that aspect as well. And a positive news is that since this report was pulled or put together, the team has received a notification that we have been able to receive in actuals $177,789 or 17.7% in the $1 million bucket, the second row. So the report has not been updated because it was priorly pulled. Up next, yes. So competition for the grants this year is unprecedented, as previously mentioned with the state of not-profit study. However, there are a few foundations that we are starting to have deeper conversations and be invited for larger gifts. Those applications are due this summer with announcement at the end of the year. We are trying a new strategy this year of starting to solicit the 2027 events. For example, Transit Equity Day and golf outing in the summer to help ensure the companies are budgeting for them. That is why we have been pushing to get 2026 golf renewals in early this year, because sometimes when you are approaching in the middle of earlier in the year, the budget is set, usually they are set well advanced. So we just wanted to make this modification in the timeline to be able to tap into those corporations to have the funding allocated for us through their budgeting process. Our 2027 corporate sponsorship guide will be distributed in July and will feature a discount if companies commit to both the Transit Equity Day as well as golf outing before the end of 2026, just to entice them and lock in the revenue early on. The next slide is showing a line chart that shows the number of donors over the past 2 years. Past 3 years is what I'm seeing here. And this is a positive direction that's going well. Again, there are a lot of opportunities, but it's a good progress. The next slide is about the 2026 board giving. So Foundation Board has been able to contribute about 69% till date. We'll continue to monitor this, and our hope is to get 100% by the end of the year. Indigo Board represents 71%. So Inner Circle giving in total is about 70%. So thank you to everyone who has supported to the Indigo Foundation's board giving. And lastly, strategic plan, next steps and update on that. We know Indigo Foundation is in need of a revised strategic plan that was put together, probably the last version was put together 2 to 3 years ago, particularly to accommodate the potential changes with our programs. Here is how Indigo Foundation is thinking of approaching that plan while incorporating the feedback from 2 studies being conducted this year. 2 studies meaning the endowment feasibility study as well as the study that Indigo is, I forgot the name of the CARB, yes, thank you. So we request a meeting for both boards to have a chance to understand the findings of both the studies and ask questions of the consultants. If you are in favor, we definitely would like to work to get such a meeting scheduled this fall, because again, we want to make sure that there is a synergy and there is an open dialogue between both the studies as well as both the boards. So definitely reach out to Emily or myself if you would like to go that direction. I think it's going to be really fruitful. With that, I conclude my report and happy to take any questions as well.
Thank you, Harvey.
Thank
Are there any questions or comments from the board members? Sure, go ahead.
I feel like I'm compromising the other board members, but I always go first, but Artie, I don't know that, first off, it's great to see you.
You too.
So I've just got some questions. I don't know if you can answer them, but if you can maybe make a note
Yep.
and take them back so that we could spread it around to the board members. But with regard to your new website, you know, I was trying to figure out, you know, navigate it a little bit. And I'm just wondering if there's anybody coordinating messaging between the foundation and Carrie Black's group at the corporation, so that we're not messaging or, you know, not being consistent in that messaging.
Correct.
So that would be the first thing.
Yep.
The second thing, and I note in the report that there was, as of June, there was $770,000 in requests pending or requests outstanding. I don't know if there's a way that you can quantify what's reasonably gettable, you know? I mean, a lot of times, you know, you file for everything you can possibly file for, hoping that maybe you get lucky on a couple of them, but there should be some in there, I would think, that you have some reasonable expectation of return on that request. And so that would be interesting to know. And if there's ways that board members can be helpful in, you know, maybe a little nudge here or there.
Yeah, can I ask you a clarifying question? So I'm sorry, I forgot or I missed the first part. Is it regarding the swag store? I'm trying to wrap the numbers or tally the numbers that you just said.
No, I don't know what about the swag store. I was talking about my first question related specifically to the foundation's new website.
Yeah.
And the messaging on that.
Yeah, that I got.
And the 770K I was talking about was that in the chart on the fundraising, it said you
The
had
grant solicitations, I think.
solicitations that were outstanding.
Okay, yeah. Got it.
I mean, it's no secret that I'm not a huge fan of the swag store. I think it's kind of a waste of time and money, but that's another discussion. And then my final kind of sort of sets of questions are, you talk about the outreach, and you're doing, let me get back to it so I know what I'm talking about here. So you talk about the outreach, and you're doing, looks like 1, 2, 3, maybe three mailings, and a couple or 3 email solicitations. Could you find out from what the cost of all these mailings are individually and collectively, and the revenue generated from those mailings?
Right.
And then also the revenue generated from the email solicitations?
Yeah. All right, I'll follow up with those questions and work with the team and get back with the board member.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you can just stick that in next month's report.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be anything, just kind of list it out and just put it in the packet, so we've got that information.
You got it.
And let me just say, I think it's a great idea, Mr. Chairman, in October or November, whenever all the studies are done, we probably should sit down with the foundation board and get, you know, get a report on all of those. I mean, I don't think that's anything that couldn't be done in a public meeting, right?
And I think just to piggyback off of the mailing aspect, right? I mean, the Indigo Foundation's approach has been even though we may not generate more revenue out of the mailings, but the more visibility that we have out in the public, donors, I think that's what we are trying to get to. There are different mechanisms that you can reach out to the donors, like social media or annual impact report or whatever that may be. So sometimes you may not see the revenue generated directly out of it, but it's a good metric to have. But overall, I think there are some key events that, we have seen some positive momentum going, right? The Transit Equity Day, how can we make it bigger and better and connect to some of the initiatives that are happening at Indigo? So it is a good opportunity for Foundation and Indigo to collaborate on certain things that we are getting more visibility out and quick returns on those.
Yeah,
So,
don't
yeah.
get me wrong, Hardy. I'm not, it's not that I'm not looking for an ROI on a mailing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand if we're spending, I'm making up numbers. If we're spending $10,000 on mailings and we're getting $2,000 in return, all the visibility in the world is great, but is it a wise use of resources
Yeah.
to do those? Maybe we think about other ways or less frequent, or I don't know, but I'm just trying to think through the value add, I guess,
Yes.
would be my thought.
Yeah.
So, but other, I think it's a great, I think it's a great, the website looks very interesting to me. And I think it's a great opportunity for us on the corporate board to kind of help, try to understand what it is that you all are attempting to do. And so we can all get on the same page and start pulling the oars in the same direction. So
Yeah.
thanks, Hardy. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you so much. Have a good day.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. If that's it, then that's the end of our meeting for June. I want to thank everybody for attending either in person or virtually, and wish everyone a happy June 19th. And we look forward to seeing you in July. Thank you.
I have one question, but I didn't ask. All the people in that photo, they all employed by the foundation. That group that you're on the bus, they all